Hi everybody, let's make a quilt. We are going to take a charm square quilt pattern, we are going to supersize it, and we are going to make it in a day. Join me. Hi everybody, it is April and I am in my craft room. Yes, it is back by popular demand. Today I want to make a quilt and I want it to be something unusual. I was searching the internet looking for something, a little different, not the same blocks and whatnot, and I found it in charm square size right here. Love the layout, but I thought, I think I want to make it a little bigger, so I'm going to use 10-inch squares if I don't knock myself out first. I have this Ruby Star Society layer cake bundle. Now, for those of you who don't buy pre-cuts because they aren't fiscally responsible, there are other options. First of all, you don't have to use 10-inch squares. If the 8-inch square is your favorite, you can use the 8-inch square. And I will tell you how to determine what size cuts to make your background. You can also use half-yard bundles or like a stack of fabric that you find and you don't remember what you were going to use it for. It would be perfect. Let's take a trip to the design wall and see how this quilt is going to lay out. First things first, let's take this bundle apart. It wasn't very hard at all. This is how I envision the quilt. Of course, I have multiples of each color and I don't want them to all be together. So let's try and keep them apart. The design is like stacked blocks and I can rearrange these once I get the main layout done. However, I am just going to have 3 different size blocks. So essentially what happens is I'm going to have background fabric on this side, background fabric on this side, background fabric on this side. Let's see, hold on. Do I want to do it this way? No. You know what? I lied. I am just going to leave it the way it was. Yep. I am not going to overcomplicate it. Not going to do it. Okay. Here, I kind of like this progression of the color. It's got some gray in it, which is fine. I also have to decide what my background fabric is going to be. We don't have any white, so I'm thinking we can get away with white as our background. Are there any other colors that we should consider? I don't know, because there are other colors in these blocks. They're like paint splatter. So we've got some gold, some pink. I think I saw some purple. So we do have options for the background. And I'm going to start with the darker. We're going to do the opposite on this side. Okay, so we've got 2 rows. Now, a decision needs to be made on exactly how wide we want our rows to be. And of course, these are not straight. Once we decide that we have a 10-inch block, which they are going to be 10 inches from top to bottom, that decision is made for us because that's what the pattern did, and I'm just going to stick with that. Now, we have 10 inches across, but we're going to need to know exactly how wide our rectangle is going to be so that we can figure out how much background fabric it is we need to connect to our block. So, I'm not sure. If we made it 20, that's another 10 inches. I don't think we want it 20. I think maybe we want to make it another 5.5. So we're either going to add 5.5 inches to this side or this side. Here we would add 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches. Then we'd put these two together and we'd add 5.5 inches and 5.5 inches. So if that's the case, then they're going to be 14.5 inches. That might be too much. We'll have to see. So we could do a test. But first we need our background fabric. I went a little crazy, but you know, I don't want to miss an opportunity. This, pretty sure, yeah, we're just going to knock it out right now. Not what we want. This, because we've got essentially a solid, this might not be bad. I think it's definitely in the running. I just don't know if I have enough. I've got to say, I'm sorry, but I miss Joann's because, you know, you could run there, pick up fabric. I love my local quilt shops, but I miss Joann's. Why couldn't they keep it working? Okay, this one too. This one's probably got just about every color. I like it. Again, I don't know. I would think I have a yard, but I'm not sure a yard's going to be enough. I really like this one. It's definitely got the colors. I just, you know, I'm kind of liking it. I'm not sure. I like it. I don't know if it's too much like what we have there, but it's got a nice fern print. This is called fossil fern. This is another definite navy. All right, now I have a white, and it's actually a white on white. It's a flower. So it's, it would definitely mimic the charm square pattern because it is a white. I know that I have plenty of it because I got a lot. Thank you, Joann's. This is a maybe. So really and truly, my favorite is going to be this one. Now I just have to see if it will work. Now it's time to figure out sizes. All right, I cut down the width significantly. I think I went with 4.5 inches, so like an inch. So I'm not going to complicate this. I'm going to keep it very simple. It will mean that I have to sew more, but I'm more comfortable with that than doing the math. So I cut 4.5 inches wide, and then it's easy to know how long I needed it because it's 10 inches. So here I've got 4.5 inches. I've got my 10 by 10 inch block, my 10 by 10 inch block, and my 4.5 inches. Now here I could have just cut a block that's 4.5 and 4.5, which is 9, and then add a quarter because you're going to lose a 1/4 inch, add a half because you're going to lose a 1/4 inch on each side. I just cut 2 pieces at 4.5 inches. To keep it simple, if you don't want to use a pre-cut, and again, say your favorite block size is an 8 by 8. So you want to cut 8 by 8 inch squares out of scraps or whatever it is that you're wanting to use for this project. You decide how wide you want your background fabric, and then you will cut it 8 inches. So whatever size your block is, that's how long your background fabric is going to be, and then by whatever size you want. So I am going to need to cut, I have to figure out how many 4.5 inch pieces. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I need 24 of those 4.5 inch strips to put together my layout. Let's cut. Funny side note, this is a bundle of fabrics that I got. Honestly, I have no idea when it was, and I was considering using these in order to make this quilt. Well, I just happened to be thumbing through them, and look what I found. It's the exact fabric that I'm using for my background. So in case I want a border, I still have a whole yard. And in case you're wondering, this is Gradients by Mocha. And this right here, his name is Boomer. He is why you haven't seen a lot of Oliver lately, because he likes to chase kitty cats. But he is soon going to be in training so that he won't chase kitty cats. Wish me luck. Before we talk about the way this quilt top turned out, I want to let everybody know that we are having a 3 Quilt Amigas retreat. It is the last week of April, the beginning of May. I'm going to put a link in the description below, and I hope that you all will come join us. We had a great time last year, and I cannot wait to do it again this year. So don't miss out. The tickets are on sale now, so go check it out and sign up. We would love to have you there. The 3 Quilt Amigas are myself and Di from Sister Chicks and Tracy from the Sewing Channel. I can't wait to meet you. Here is my finished quilt top. Does it look just like the charm square quilt that we started out mimicking? It does not, but I like the way it turned out. Now you can use a white background fabric, and I think if I had, then it would look like the quilt top that I was mimicking. But I do like the pattern on this background fabric because this reads as such a solid. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Eat some chocolate and be kind to everyone, especially yourself. Bye until next time.